Groudon has recently been accused of being a fraud. He has failed to see any real placements in online tournaments, his signature move is unreliable, and worst of all, Pelipper is running around the format, casually setting up the rain and genuinely making things difficult. So is Groudon as bad as they say? That's what we're here to find out. I spent around 3 days or so building a Groudon team that went through a variety of changes. But the team that I ended up landing on and performing pretty well with on the Showdown Lighter was this. Hello, my name is VGC Mike and we're back again with more Regulation G content. This time we'll be featuring a Groudon team. This team's primary strategy is to sweep with Tera Fairy, Choice Specs Fluttermane in the sun with a Photosynthesis special attack boost. One really cool calculation I was able to find with this set is that Tera Fairy Moonblast in the sun can actually just one-shot Calyrex Ice Rider, and if they lead with a redirection user, then Tera Fairy Dazzling Gleam combined with Precipice Blades can also knock out Calyrex Ice Rider. There is a chance that they can dodge the Precipice Blades or live with a small amount of HP, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. This team also has a Trick Room mode that revolves around Farigiraf and Incineroar, with Torkoal as a sweeper. Torkoal can also be used to help you keep the sun up into opponents that bring Pelipper. We also have Tornadus with Sunny Day and Tailwind to help our Pokemon move first and keep our Fluttermane's damage output strong. I would also like to note that I am using Stomping Tantrum on Groudon. This is mainly for consistent ground damage, but I also don't care for Swords Dance on Groudon with Pelipper being popular at the moment, because you will often need to switch Groudon in and out to set up the sun. It also has a much appreciated benefit of not being walled by Wide Guard. I have 3 matches for you today that I played in a Japanese ladder tournament. I will mention before the battle start that I was in a rush to finish my team to get into the battles for the tournament. Because of this, I ended up forgetting to put Taunt on my Tornadus and instead still had Rain Dance, which is not good. You definitely want Taunt, so ignore the Rain Dance, you'll see me talk about it in the first battle. And I also didn't have time, or I didn't realize that I had not fixed my Groudon's EVs. In my practice matches on Showdown, I had a Groudon that had enough speed investment to outspeed a lot of common faster Pokemon, but the Groudon that I had in game was max HP and max attack. You'll see me talk about that in the third game as well. There's a situation where I get outsped by a presumably a Choice Scarf Chi-Yu, and with the EV spread that I have on the Groudon for the rental, that is adjusted. So your Groudon, if you use this team, Groudon will outspeed anything that is speed of like 250 or so under Tailwind. I'm also going to add a 4th battle that I played on Pokemon Showdown at the end, because I didn't run into any Pelippers today when I was playing in the tournament, and I wanted to show how you'd kind of play around Pelipper with this team. If you do like this type of content, consider subscribing. It really does help the channel a lot, and we're going to be uploading Regulation G content all season long. With that out of the way, let's jump into the battles. Okay, so this is the mirror match. Well, in a sense, sun versus sun. So the first thing I usually ask myself is, do I want to go Tailwind or Trick Room? And if I see Flutter and Chi-Yu, I usually don't go Trick Room, because our main way of setting that up is Fake Out in Trick Room. And if they just go Tera Ghost Chi-Yu, then that's not really an option anymore. So I'll use Tornadus in Groudon, and if they do end up leading Flutter Chi-Yu in that case, then that's not so bad. We definitely want our Fluttermane, and we'll bring Incineroar. Okay, so this is definitely the harder lead. So we actually could have definitely set up Trick Room here, which would have been awesome. Oh my god, I didn't put Taunt on my... Yeah, he's supposed to have Taunt. So yeah, we're max speed Tornadus. Okay, so they're gonna go Bleak Wind, which is kind of risky, but actually if you get a knockout on my Torn here, Icy Wind. I don't mind that. I do not mind that. Yeah, so we'll send in Fluttermane. And we'll just go spread move, and we'll switch Incineroar in. So that one, assuming we pick up a KO here on both, whoever comes in next, we have the Fake Out active. Okay. So yeah, they're going to send in Groudon. I'm going to Gleam, and I will Fake Out the... Let me see how many turns of Trick Room there are left. Or Tailwind, I'm sorry. So they have 3, I have 2. I think what I'm actually going to do is switch out, because I think I'll need Fake Out later. And they'll probably protect with Groudon this turn. Yep. Okay. So Chia just lived that naturally. Alright, now I'll send in Incineroar. And we will go... Yeah, let's go for it. So let's see who they target here, because Precipice Blades getting off into the Groudon would be pretty good. Alright, and they just protect. Flame Charge. Yeah. Not a fan of Flame Charge on Groudon. In this matchup, it's pretty good. P-Blades don't miss. Do not miss. Here we go. So yeah, now we're going to put them in double protect territory. So we'll Fake Out Chiyu and Stomping Tantrum on the Walking Wake. Okay, they just canceled. So yeah. I don't see any Tailwind, so I think we're fine to go Tailwind Groudon, turn 1. Bring in Flutter for a sweep. And I don't see any priority moves, so we'll just go with Incineroar. Okay. So we'll just set up our Tailwind right away. Yeah, we'll Stomping Tantrum. It's either Stomping Tantrum or we Heat Crash the Landorus. I was trying to decide what mattered more for later. But I think if we're going for like a Dazzling Gleam sweep under Tailwind, then... Oh, I was expecting them to Terra or something. Okay, well. Alright, Volt Switch out. Okay, Walking Wake. Gets a special attack boost, so we're still faster. And they Rock Slide. That's fine. And that was a pretty weak Rock Slide. So, I'm just gonna go Fluttermane. And we Dazzle, and then we Stomping Tantrum just in case they have some sort of defensive Terra. But I'm not afraid of Landorus knocking me out with seeing the damage from the Rock Slide. Makes me think that they don't have the power to actually pull off, you know, knocking us out here. Okay. So that should lift the Dazzling Gleam, but probably not the Stomping Tantrum. I would say definitely not, actually. Because they are just weak to it. Okay, and we do get the knockout on Landorus. Nope, the critical hit was on the... I forget the name. Baneful Bunker Pokemon there. So we Stomp. They have Rocky Helmet. I'm sure the crit doesn't matter there. The Stomping Tantrum very likely picks up the KO. Okay. And we still have 2 more turns of Trick Room. So let's Dazzling Gleam again, and Stomping Tantrum, Walking Wake again, just in case they're like Terra Fire or Steel or something. Yep, let's see what you have. Fire, yep. So yeah, Stomping Tantrum picks up the KO here. Okay, so this, okay, this is actually tougher. So like I said earlier, I do like to go I really like to go Trick Room against Calyrex, but I can't safely set it up against a team like this because of the Fluttermane Chiyu. They also have a Farigiraf that could potentially imprison Trick Room, so that means we have to fight them with the Tailwind. Now, the cool thing is, a lot of people see something like this and they have to try and, you know, counter the Trick Room. So our advantage is if... Wait, I do not want to start Incineroar, I want to start Groudon. Our advantage is if they lead to counter the Trick Room, we, you know, we have the ability to Tailwind and Precipice Blades and deal some big damage. And then we still bring Farigiraf just because he's good into Calyrex in general, due to his normal typing. Okay, yep. That's a great lead for us. I am going to Tailwind, just because, yeah, even if they Trick Room here, Calyrex is so fast that it doesn't even matter. I mean, it still would be beneficial for us because we have Farigiraf in the back, and Farigiraf does not outspeed. Okay, so yeah, they don't go Trick Room, they just go Helping Hand here. And they're still faster because they are apparently Choice Scarf. So that's a little rough. My Groudon, I need to adjust his EVs actually. The Groudon I was using in testing and the Groudon that I had in my party are different, which is not, you know, that's my fault. But yeah, my Groudon right now is max HP, max attack in game, and the Groudon I was using in testing definitely has a good chunk of special attack investment. Okay, so we get him back. Critical hit definitely could have mattered there, but we did have a Bleak Wind Storm going off that would have been a single target, so, you know, let's just assume the Bleak Wind Storm didn't miss and the crit didn't happen, and we're still good there. Because under Tailwind, we're faster. Let's see if they brought the Whimsicott. They didn't bring Whimsicott. Okay, sweet. So yeah, we're just fast now. We're faster. We're faster than them. So the issue, I guess, is I have an idea. Let's switch in our Farigiraf and Dazzling. Because I'm sure they want a Sucker Punch. Torn, probably, and then get a single target Astral Barrage off. Okay. Yep. So we block a Sucker Punch. Let's see what happens here. Wow, they live with both. That's pretty crazy. Oh, well, okay, that's not crazy. For some reason, I thought that the Focus Sash would be on the what's it called? Calyrex Shadow. So I'd say we still have the advantage here. This is tough because they might be choice locked. I think that they are because I didn't see a Life Orb and they're clearly not Focus Sash. And if that's the case, then we just win right here. But if they aren't and there's some other weird item, then I want a Trick Room and Bleak Wind. But that leaves the option for us to lose to Bleak Wind missing on Urshifu, which I'm going to do that because I do think it's safer. But let's see if I'm right. If they Astral again, then Well, we have to miss this for them to have the option to Astral. No, they don't. Okay, so sweet. I would say this is the... I would prefer to win this way, but I do think that they might have been choice locked into Astral Barrage there. Okay. And Hyper Voice and Bleak Wind. Okay, and our fourth battle will be one that has already happened, so this is not happening live. I'm not giving commentary as the battle's happening. This is a battle that I did while testing the team on Pokemon Showdown, and why I wanted to feature this is because they're using a Pelipper. So I want to show, I mean, for some people this is probably, pretty obvious. We have a Torkoal and a Groudon. I could have used the Tornadus hypothetically, but Torkoal is way better into Calyrex Ice than Tornadus is, so I brought Torkoal. So I actually lead with Torkoal and Fluttermane, partially because of the fact that they do have the Pelipper, and also partially because Torkoal is he's one of the slowest Pokemon ever, right? And if some people don't realize this, but when Pokemon switch out, so if I switch out and the opponent switches out, the Pokemon that's faster will switch out first. So it has nothing to do with like player A or player B. It's just based on which Pokemon's faster. So if I lead with Torkoal and they switch out Incineroar, then I'll have the switch out second. Now that actually isn't what happens here, but that was part of the reason why I like to lead Torkoal in this situation. So Intimidate goes off, Sun goes up, and Photosynthesis boost occurs. So I switch out Groudon, they don't switch out. They end up protecting with Calyrex Ice. This Moonblast had a very high chance of actually knocking out Calyrex, but they protected. But then they tried a Parting Shot into Groudon with Clear Amulet. So their plan was to Parting Shot so that they could work around Torkoal being, the whole thing I just explained where Torkoal would have switched out second. They didn't want that, so they went with the Parting Shot. Now, if they Parting Shotted into Fluttermane, this would have worked, but because they Parting Shotted into the Groudon, it blocked with the Clear Amulet. I'm assuming part of the reason that they did not want to block, they didn't want to, Parting Shot into Fluttermane, is because Torkoal's slower. So let's say I didn't want to switch Torkoal out, maybe I just wanted to attack with both. The Parting Shot wouldn't have really done anything because Fluttermane would have already gotten her attack off, right? So that's why I'm assuming they did that. Or maybe they just figured, I'm sending in Groudon again or something, and they didn't think I'd have the Clear Amulet, and that would be a better target. But regardless, Clear Amulet does block the Parting Shot. So then they do send in Pelipper. I decide to stay in Moonblast and target down Stomping Tantrum. The reason I did that is because they already protected. I'm already locked into a single target attack, and with Incineroar there, having failed the Parting Shot, there's nothing they can really do to stop me from attacking with both of my Pokemon. So now, we're still dealing with Pelipper. We're in a good spot though. I'm a Fairy type, so they can use Fake Out. So we're going to switch out, bring in our own Incineroar, get an Intimidate off, and we actually just double switch into Torkoal. So we got the Sun back again. They bring Pelipper back out again. They use Fake Out on the switch. I now Fake Out the Urshifu, assuming it's Choice Scarf. And they Parting Shot Pelipper back in. So, I use Eruption. Bring Groudon back in on the next turn. Surging Strikes does some minimal damage. I mean, it's a good chunk, but it's not a 2-hit. They do get a crit here with Weather Ball, which is unfortunate. But we do get a burn on Urshifu, so it's okay. But we are down to, one Weather Setter apiece now. They bring in Incineroar, and Surging Strikes especially with the burn. Does nothing to Incineroar, and it also wouldn't have done a ton to Fluttermane. In the Sun, Moonblast just picks up the knockout on the Incineroar. And yeah, they forfeit here for obvious reasons. Once we hit Urshifu with that knockoff, Fluttermane's just faster than everything now. So I could just take my pick of, you know, if I want to switch in Torkoal and Moonblast Urshifu, or if I want to, you know, just finish off the Pelipper. Either way, switching in Torkoal, obviously, because why not? But yeah, having a second, I will say this. The fact that people are using Pelipper as their main way to deal with, you know, sun and weather, rather than Tornadus, in some ways is actually better. Because besides the parting shot play or a U-turn play, there's not a lot of ways to, you know, deal with somebody just switching in a second Sunsetter, or if I have Tornadus using Sunny Day afterward. So it's really not, I think I will say this, earlier in the video, at the beginning of the video, I did say that I was testing Groudon for a few days. I was having a harder time with Pelipper at one point. Not on the lower part of the ladder, but as I was trying to get through like the higher part of the showdown ladder, a lot of times just seeing Pelipper was very, very annoying to deal with. Until I made my final adjustments on this team. I brought in Torkoal, and Tornadus actually was the last member of the team to join. So after having both of them on the team, it didn't feel as bad anymore. And I guess the one thing is you kind of know they're going to do it, right? Like you lead with Groudon and or Torkoal, and you have a Fluttermane that can just nuke any Pokemon basically with a Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam. They're going to switch Pelipper in, so you just switch in your next Sunsetter and you block it, and then they have to switch Pelipper out, and you're both just going to be switching around a lot like this game. But yeah, it's definitely something you can play around. But if you build your Groudon team where it's just Groudon, and especially if you're like a Swords Dance Groudon and you kind of, you know, the sun is kind of like an afterthought, you're just kind of hoping they don't do anything about it, then it's going to be hard. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Just if you're interested in seeing me use this Groudon team again, I'm probably going to be making one more video with it. But other than that, I will be making Terapagos next. Terapagos actually won the vote in the community tab when I asked who you guys wanted me to build around. I ended up building Groudon because Groudon was winning the vote for a while. And then towards the end of me building this team, Terapagos pulled ahead and it ended up winning. So I won't do another poll until after that team is built, but then I'll be asking again who you guys are interested in seeing. But yeah, you guys have a good day and happy battling.